Ashley.
Bring him on in. Bring him on in. I have to apologize now. Unc, I am sorry. I didn't mean to cut off your intro there.
You know,
You for the good cue.
it's supposed to go 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, back to 1.
He been Charles Barkley
It's,
all day, ain't he, Unc?
Look, Ernie, I'm telling you, I don't want to come on now.
Oh man. Okay, we're wrapping up camp today. We got Uncle Neely calling in from where are you at the rooftop right now at the Champion Center?
The most
I'm on,
beautiful
the-
view
the-
in college football, man.
The coaches' floor, the fourth floor. This is where the coaches' family members watch the game.
Let's go.
Speaking of family members, you got a true family affair on the show today.
Show,
We
dude.
do.
No
Hi,
one
Mama.
invited my parents. That's probably on me, I guess.
Your parents live here.
Right. Tell them to pull up. I got my OGs in here, I got my pops, moms in here. So yeah, so y'all be nice to me today in the chat. When y'all act up
Yeah,
today.
me too.
Just know that my parents are here and they're reading all y'all messages.
Facts.
So act accordingly today, y'all.
Exactly.
Hey, man, shout out to your fam, Scott. It was a pleasure to meet them on the bus tour last year. Just wanted to know, still a pleasure working with your son. The waves are coming back. They're not back yet, but we're going to be game ready for Georgia Tech.
Thanks. Yeah, they enjoy it. They love meeting you too, Unc. And absolutely, man. It's going to be perfect timing when these waves officially hit. It's going to be probably like week 2, and it's going to be perfect.
Jake, shout out your family too.
Hi, Mama. My mama's in the house. My sister's back as well. So you better be nice. I swear to God.
You guys can say whatever you want.
Jake,
to me. My parents
there's
aren't
no
here.
way the chat is going to be nice to 2 people. Y'all got to pick one. Like,
pick one.
y'all both can't get a pass.
Thanks.
I know what it
I
is.
asked first.
I know what it is already. All right, let's talk ball. We're wrapping up really the first week of media coverage. 4 practices in for you guys. Is this it? Is there another practice tomorrow? What's the agenda like the rest of the week?
Yeah, got one tomorrow, then off on Sunday.
All right. Do we want to get into standouts right away then?
Sure.
So, I mean, it feels like there's 15 guys we could talk about right now.
Yeah.
Unc, I want to ask you about one player in particular, though, because it seems like he's one of Coach's favorite players, and he's really stepped up. That's Quincy Wiggins, basically since the spring game, and it seems like he's emerging as a starter caliber player. What can you tell us about the jump he's made in the last year or so?
Yeah, he really is become a favorite of Coach Prime, what he brings to the table, the potential. There is no ceiling for the guy. And I want to just give a big shout out to Coach Hilo, who's really put his arms around him and coaching him up and, getting him to where he is and beyond. I think he has the caliber. He has what it takes physically and mechanically to be one of the bigger names in Big 12 football this year. And what Coach Hilo is pouring into him, the confidence that Coach Prime is giving to him, as well as the defense coordinator overall, I think you're going to hear Quincy Wiggins' name a lot. He's not a guy a quarterback wants to see coming at him. Like, y'all remember a year ago and 2 years ago, I talked about the kind of guys that when they step off the bus, it makes you say, oh, shit, and you don't want to play against them.
Yeah.
Like, Quincy Wiggins is a oh, shit when you see him.
Unc, I'm just going to open it up. Like, what players are on your mind right now? What are players that have stuck out to you in these first few days and impressed you?
I still want to lean on that wide receiver room, and it's not so much as like one guy that's impressed. I've seen, Draylon do some things, Omari do some things, but the reason I'm really looking at that room, we have 4 guys from the wide receiver room who are now NFL rosters. Like, that offensive production has to be replaced somewhere, and you got a deep room of talent, from freshmen all the way up to, Terrell Timmons, who's experienced. And so I look at each practice to see who's going to be that breakout guy. And I think what's going to happen this fall, guys, right here in this stadium and everywhere we travel, you're going to have a different guy each week.
Who's someone that made you like look at the roster, like say like, who is that guy?
Offensive lineman, this new offensive line. Again, it's the reverse of those when I talk about the defensive guys that, just put the fear in your heart. When you look at this old line, the size of it is off the charts. There's no little guys out there. There's no guys, that can't do their job. There's depth. You talk about the offensive line from last year. It's really only Jordan Seaton that's still there from, playing time. So guys might still be on the roster. So you're looking at their development. Kareem's name has been called multiple times this week as far as doing a great job. But when you look at the size of this line and how it was recruited to be this post-Shador, post-Travis era for Colorado football, and so that we could run the ball. They got the size to do it.
I think that position group arc is the biggest reason for my optimism with this team this year. Obviously, Seaton coming back for a sophomore year, like that's just star left tackle. And the addition of like Zy Crizzle, who we heard from today, and Xavier Hill at guard, like the interior of this offensive line is just so much improved. And like I said, I think that just gives me the most room for optimism. We heard from, Coach Shermer today, and both of the coordinators this week, him and Robert Livingston, now in year 2 with those guys kind of in this system, players in their system, are you kind of already seeing through just, a week of practices, more comfortability from the players and the coaches, again, in year 2 in their respective systems?
I am. You're looking at a team that's about 50% new players, but the transition of people who've been here before that know the terminology, and what they can do with the new players. You now have extensions of player coaches on the field versus you go back a year ago and it's all new language to everybody. So I think that's going to, bode well for these guys the new guys getting a jump start and the older guys, having a head start. Is that the familiarity? This is one of the first times in Coach Prime's coaching career that you're coming back to a season with both coordinators.
Yeah. Okay, I want to ask you about the running backs. I mean, the offensive line, I think we all figure is going to be better, but I was watching your video yesterday when you were, greeting all the guys walking down what you would catwalk, I guess, to the lower practice fields.
Bridge.
I think that's the term for it, Arcade Bridge.
Well, anyways,
Crossing
Micah
over
comes
Boulder
walking
Creek.
down. Micah comes walking down. You tell him, yep, it's only a matter of time before someone gets bowled over. What can you tell us about him in that room so far?
David's first day of pass, somebody got bowled over. This is like the dude, man. The one thing I love about the backs that we have is the different running styles they bring to the table. It's really going to be a challenge for a defense coordinator on the side to put in a linebacker crew that's designed for one back, and then you can switch running backs into a totally different style, whether they're running the ball or catching the ball over in the flats. Like this running back room is designed to do it all because their coach was a do it all guy. You look at Marshall Falk, he doesn't count carries, he counts touches. So he wants them to be heavily involved, in the pass game as well. But even he will tell you, no blocky, no rocky. If you're not going to block, you're not going to get the rock. And so this whole team is built to block.
I love it.
Unc, damn well everybody out here trying to hear about these quarterbacks. And, you told us earlier that if there wasn't an impressive meter, Juju would be a little bit ahead. Just can you tell this audience kind of why you thought that and just, I guess, what you've seen, now that 4 practices are in the books between those quarterbacks?
Because he doesn't move around like a 17-year-old. He doesn't walk through the building like a freshman. He and some other players since we've been here have made that decision to come early. They could have been at their proms or going on senior skip day, but they went on and came to college. And I think it really helped them get acclimated, and they don't move in the building like they're freshmen.
Yeah.
And whether he's in the big team meeting room or cafeteria or walking through the building, you would think he's been here 2 or 3 years. And when I see him getting his chance with the offense out there, when I put on the lens that this guy's a 17-year-old high school student, the impressive meter is going to lean a little further to him, because what you're seeing Salter do, not that it's not impressive, he's the senior, he's the guy who's played college ball, so you kind of expect it of him. You're looking for that moment of the deer in headlights for Juju because he's a freshman, and although he's made some mistakes, he bounces right back from them. So hats off to him, man. He does not look like a 17-year-old.
I was telling Jake this on our drive back from Boulder today, and I was like, I think maybe the thing that impresses me the most about Juju is I think he has like 0 performance anxiety. Like I think that he just believes that he's going to go out there and cook every single day. And I think back to like when you were in class and people had like testing anxiety, and the teachers always be like, the more you prepare, the less anxious you'll be. And I think that's like why Juju's like that, because he just puts in all of the work. He puts in so much work. He thinks about this so much. And I'm not saying Cade's not like that. I just had the opportunity to see this from Juju, but I think that's why he's giving off this vibe to people. Like Zai said today, like, yeah, he's younger, but he kind of acts like he's older. Like I think he just truly believes in himself at like an incredibly high level. So he carries himself that way.
Yeah, and much like, great point, RK, and much like our previous quarterback, they've been in that position so long,
right?
A position of leadership, position of responsibility, so many opportunities before they got here, that this is not new to them. This atmosphere, this environment, the stakes are higher may be new, but having the control and command of those around you is not new to him.
Unc, you can go as big picture or as, pick a position or player if you want. But, over the last 2 years, like if you look at this time last year and this time 2 years ago, what impresses you the most about this team when you put it in that type of context?
Oh man, great question there, Jake. Let me put the spotlight on the linebackers. I think that over the years, if you've had a quarterback that you talk about, you've had an offensive lineman that you talk about, you've clearly had guys in the secondary that you talk about. The Coach Hart's room, excuse me, has been overlooked, for a couple of years. You did have some linebackers transferring and making a little noise, last season. But I think this may be, from freshman to senior, from freshman to transfer portal guy, this may be the most depth and talent he's had in that room. And I'm looking forward to see what that linebacker unit does this year. And so that's who I'm watching, as far as who I'm looking for this particular unit. It goes without saying, Jake. We got to see it happen, but this offensive line has upgraded. We got to see it happen, but this defensive line has upgraded. But people are not talking enough about the talent that's there in that linebacker room.
Love that.
The last couple of years, we've had conversations around this time in camp. I remember we actually talked to Coach Hart 2 years ago, and he was like, if we had a game today, Marvin Ham would be starting at linebacker for us. Last year, Unc, it was all the way through camp. You said if we had a game today, Charlie would be starting at running back. Is there someone that's kind of like sticking out to you so far where you're like, if we had a game today, this guy would be starting for us?
Which position?
Anywhere.
Running back? Oh.
As like a surprise maybe that maybe people aren't expecting.
Well, since we started right there, I'll go running back. I like what I've seen from Dallin Hayden in all situations. Each one of these guys have gotten opportunities in different spots on the field, and I like what I see from diversity of style and what he can do and what he's capable of. I think he's the back that for me has the body to do all things that the other two guys do as well. He could become that bowling ball. He could become those hands out the backfield and turn on the jets. So I like what he's bringing to the table. I tell you, man, offensive line wise, I don't know why the world has forgotten about Tyler Brown. Like Rock is here. And Rock is still one of the strongest guys on the team. And Rock is determined to be in that first five going out there. And I would not bet against him. The chip that he has on his shoulder, what he's bringing to the table and what he wants to be his final year. I wouldn't sleep on Tyler Brown, man.
Unc, would Ben Finnis fit into that category to you?
Here's why he wouldn't. There's not anything Ben does that surprises me. Like the guy comes to lunch with a robot. The guy can make the most intelligent statement you've ever heard, and then turn around and make another joke that you have to edit out of the video for the day. Like Ben just does it all, and I'm not surprised from his effort. I'm not surprised that it's translated into leadership and trust. From his DC. Because he's one of those final original buffs, man, and he's here to go out with a bang. And Ben is, as Coach Prime puts it, Ben is Ben.
Facts. Yeah. I guess just last one, Unc. How do you feel about this team in general? What have you liked what you've seen through the first week? How does Coach feel about the first week of practice as well?
He's upbeat about it. Now his standard, man, is high. So. I don't know if he's ever like this morning. He said, "Good job, had a great practice." Said he wanted to see a little more out the quarterbacks, and I think he got that from this practice. I'll chat with him tomorrow and see his assessment on the first week. But as a head coach, that standard is going to always stay lofty and keep moving, down the line, so to speak. I think he's still overly impressed with what the strength and conditioning coach Swayze did to get these guys ready. Because this was not a wasted week. We've had wasted weeks in the past where guys were not in football shape and you didn't get everything you could get out of practice because they weren't in shape to practice football. That's not the case this week. Every practice mattered. Every rep mattered. You didn't have guys over the side throwing out or tapping out early. This team came to fall camp in shape. So shout out to Swayze, and his staff. I think, Jake, to directly answer what you said is that you've heard it before from Coach Prime, and I see it the past 4 practices. This team absolutely is better overall than last year's team because of its depth and its talent at each level. But here's the challenge. We got to give each other the business these next 21 practices but we can't afford to lose anybody. Like we got to work hard. We got to go at each other when pads are on, but we got to treat each other like teammates.
Yeah.
Because the other thing about this team, we need everybody on it to be the great team that we are. And so we can't have guys coming into camp and then missing the first 6 games because of a silly, injury that somebody did. We got to treat each other like teammates, but we got to work hard because everybody's needed for us to go to the Big 12 championship.
I got one last. Go ahead.
I got one more thing too, but I was gonna say, Coach Shermer was talking about that today, where he was like, "Dudes got to stay off the ground. Like that's how injuries happen. Like stay on your feet. Like stay in athletic position." But just the last question I got for you, Unk. What would you say to the people who, when these videos come off on your channel, whether it be Well Off or Reach the People, and there are one-on-one clips, and somebody wins a one-on-one rep,
Great
right?
question,
Because inevitably that happens. And when somebody wins a one-on-one rep, the person who loses that rep gets talked about in a less than ideal way. What would you say to the people who make these rash judgments on 5-second clips or one-on-one reps, stuff like that?
I know it's Friday, but it's not after 8 p.m., so I can't really say what I would want to say. But it's a ST and the F stands for something with a U on the end. Look, guys, basketball analogy. You show me a guy that's never been dunked on, I'm gonna show you a guy that doesn't play defense.
Period.
Like if you're gonna play defense down the paint, somebody's gonna get you.
Yeah.
And when you're doing 7-on-7s, 1-on-1 reps, and the receiver caliber that we have, man, shame on them if they don't get one of our DBs. And when you look at the DBs that we have, shame on them if they don't get a pick, too.
Mm-hmm.
So iron sharpens iron. These guys are going to go at it. And in any individual clip or post, you're going to see one guy get the best of another guy, but everybody out there is qualified and talented. And it does not mean because you saw Mario hold off DJ McKinney with one arm and bring it down with the other, that DJ is not a first round draft choice. That's not how this works. The best get caught on. How do they bounce back? 2 plays later, he bounced back with an interception.
I'm sure Jerry Rice got Coach Prime in practice a couple times.
Deion clipped that.
No fact.
Real quick, you have what I would call an amazing Coach Prime meter. Like you always just like know what he's gonna say to something or how he's gonna react to something. So I'm curious how you think mine is here in year 3. When they went out and had such a great practice in practice 1 of camp, and Coach Prime was praising him for how great it was. One of my first thoughts was they don't know what they just did because they now set the bar
standard
too high, and he's going to expect them to exceed that every single day.
Your Coach Prime meter is spot on. If I could quickly tell you 3 in the chat, once upon a time, I used to work nights at UPS. And I go into UPS and I'm not doing anything special, RK. I'm just doing what they told me to do. The second night, this guy that kind of looks like I look now, has some gray in his beard. He said, "Hey, young bro, let me talk to you." I would say, "Hey, what's going on?" He said, "Hey, dog, you gotta slow down." I said, what do you mean? He said, "Man, they gonna expect that every night." Like, he said, you can't move that many packages. Some nights gonna be cold, some nights it's gonna be hot, sometimes it's gonna be tired. But if you move as many as you're moving now, that's your number. Slow down, dog. Slow down, dog. So you're exactly right. And that we talked about that earlier today. That's what coach is looking for now: consistency. Anything that set Travis and Shador apart, Cameron Silver and Craig apart, was consistency. Were they good and great? Yes, but they were good and great every day. They didn't give you a 4 or 5 and then go back to a 2 or a 3. And so what he's looking for, these guys, Quincy Wiggins, who gave you a 4 yesterday, Tafik, who gives you a 4, DJ McKinley, who gives you a 4. Okay, how about giving me 4 4s in a row instead of 2 4s or 3 and a 3? Like, let's get this consistency up where we know what we got and we can count on it. And that's why the standard doesn't change with Coach Prime. You got to keep stacking good days. One weekend, you better believe in, RK, every day next week is going to be juxtaposed to every day this week. It has to go higher.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, Unk. Great catching up with you. Great seeing you in Boulder again. And we'll be back in there Monday, man. We're here.
Yes, sir.
See you guys Monday, man. It was good to have the squad together. RK showed up this time. You had to miss a day last week. But I will tell you this, Jake, I know your mom and sister there, but they can hear this too. It will always be 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2 back to 1.
I will learn how to count.
Always.
I promise. You have my word.
Love, Unc. See you next week.
See you Monday, Unc.
See you.
Hey, before y'all close my shot, get a last view of that.
Hey,
Please.
There you go.
What a beaut. Jeez Louise.
Soon
Half
enough.
expecting him to come back mooning the camera.